Hello, everyone. Uh, it is my great pleasure to see you once again here and to have a chance to lead one additional Keynote Fireside chat. I'm going to have a serious and honest conversation with one of my favorite persons from the business world. I can say that proudly. The former president of Data Science Serbia board, I had a privilege and chance to work as a part of board member, and I believe that kind of connection between me and Natali created something that is friendship for the whole life. I would like to say, Natali is a great person. She's a transformational person in terms of that. What she was doing was really like very well connected with multiple organizations, and right now she's serving as a chief strategy and digital officer at Telecom Serbia. In this fireside chat, we will discuss the pivotal role of leadership in scaling AI across enterprises, reflecting on key transformation in the past decade, and whether we are on the right path or not. The conversation will cover the impact of exponential technology growth, challenges posed by regulation, and strategies for adapting business models. Finally, Natali shares insights on empowering teams to drive AI transformation and how leaders can foster a culture of continuous learning, innovation, and collaboration for long-term success. Natali, please join me at the stage. One big applause, please.
Where do you want me, left or right?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, thank you. Well, I am a little bit embarrassed, and luckily I have a lot of makeup, so my blushing is not visible, but these were really very kind words from you. Thank you very much for inviting me again to take the stand here with you, and thank you all to join and to be our audience in this conversation. Hopefully, I will be honest.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
Gave me a huge task now.
Well, I'm sure
open and honest conversation. We will see.
I think it's going to be for sure interesting, and this is going to happen for sure. What I wanted to say that, to be completely honest, we started this conference 10 years ago. We are celebrating a decade right now. But also, this is one part of the story. The second part of the story is also the businesses. So I can see that you have been one of key observers, like working on multiple conferences, and I have written down historian of a change as well. Like, it doesn't sound that you're that old, sorry for that, but it really is, like, for doing business for so much. And what I wanted to say, could you share the perspective of the most significant transformation and the areas where we excelled over the past 10 years?
Yeah, well, I will focus on our market. I think it's important to focus here. We heard a lot of other lectures about other experience. So I think that huge moment of change happened in 2019 with AI strategy, where for the first time in our country, actually, the regulator recognized the need to start discussing something which is data and AI. And I think that this was a little bit of a tipping point for the ecosystem in Serbia to have wider audience that was not only those people who are really data lovers and machine learning enthusiasts who are really coming to this kind of conference and who are really trying to enhance their knowledge and experience at that time. So from that moment, I think that already in 2019, we've seen, even in the conference, quite a lot of businesses, business people, companies coming, joining, and started thinking about it. The government, I think, also helped with AI strategy because it put this topic on the agenda. So it was something that was we started discussing also in enterprises. And I think, of course, 2022 and ChatGPT, this is a major change, positive and negative, many different aspects that we can see there, but at least everyone now is involved. So we definitely had really a transformational journey in these 10 years. But looking from perspective of data science conference now, I have to say that I love one thing, that you kept change the world through data slogan, because that is actually the mission and the purpose of this conference. And I always loved that this conference was not about cult of one person, of individual, you, although we are very grateful to you that you managed to sustain and thrive through the years, very
Definitely.
challenging years with the team, of course, not only you, but there were big challenges, especially during COVID, to maintain this kind of event. And I think that it is very important that there is a mission and purpose that is driving this kind of event. And this event itself is transformational, because if you look at number of people in 2019 and now, it's 2.5 to 3 times more participants and speakers. And I think that shows how big transformation happened also in Serbia, not only in the world. So I think that is enough for me for now.
Yeah, thank you so much for these kind words. And I really do reflect on the thing when you said change world through data, not only like because it's our slogan, but data, I think in the heart of everything, data represent much more. Like if you're talking from a physical world as well, like data need to be observed. Like data doesn't exist until we observe, and we as observer, of course, it can be generated by the machines, etc. But when we observe it, we then can utilize it and transfer it in information. So we cannot have information, nor we can have reasons and thinking about it and having some insights without having the first step. So I totally do believe that I don't see as a problem to have like data, but reflecting still on data show the maturity for my side of the whole global ecosystem, especially European ecosystem.
Absolutely agree with you on that. Absolutely agree with you. That is the foundational element that is still lacking, but I think we will talk more about that during this.
Okay, let's be a little bit critical right now. I would like to ask you, what do you think are maybe the 1 or 2 most critical areas where, in your opinion, we failed as ecosystem and business leaders? Like in terms only, and also what kind of steps we could do from now in the future to maybe cover this? Something that you have expected that it should be done in the last 10 years.
Well, I think that is exactly about data. We did not start preparing data properly, not in some companies that is done more, in some less, but I think that is the biggest failure, that we needed to wait and to see this hype with the generative AI to start really considering what data means for the companies and what kind of insights, information, and intelligent decisioning can be derived from this data. And I think that is the biggest challenge now, because most of the businesses are late 5 to 10 years. They are not late a year. They are late 5 to 10 years. So how to overcome now this delay that is happening? So this is one thing. The other thing is education about data did not start. Data and of course all the other technologies did not start in time. So I don't think that many companies have in place educational programs that are really addressing these topics, and they should have. Not that some have more, some less, but on average it's still lacking. And the third thing is also that the processes, the governance, and many other things that are not done yet in the companies and need to be done. So there are many different layers which need to be addressed in order to be better, and definitely we were late. You were sending the message, change the world through data, through this conference. Many companies did not start doing that yet. They did not start to deal with their data in a proper way so that they could use it further.
I have like, let's say, inside information. I know for Louis Vuitton, for example, they also have big issues. Like sometimes it's not even about the technology. Most of the time, it's not about technology, it's about the human. And that's what I want to say. That's not only about for this region or something else. Even the most major the biggest company, European, is Louis Vuitton, Hennessy, Moet. Like that's what it stands for. But the thing is, they had a problem with Dior, and Louis Vuitton didn't want to share data between each other, so they couldn't have like centralized data. And even further, they have the same metrics, different calculation, and they're part of the same groupation. So even the biggest companies have a real issue with that, and starts with one business leader doesn't want to give the second business leader opportunity to grow. Silences, yeah.
Well, yes, I see this happening quite a lot, and this is one of the big obstacles, and that needs to be somehow cut at the root, because that if this is not overcome, it will not lead to it's not possible to actually build on top of data.
Yeah.
And that is something, for instance, we are in Telecom Serbia, really, we recognize that and we are trying. There are many people here in the audience that are really dealing with this to try to really centralize data, but not only because of technology and to have it in one place. In general, it's not in one place. It will be in different systems, but from logical perspective and how we need to use it, it has to be centralized. You need to have also data governance, data management practices, and furthermore, you need to have business definitions and you need to have data owners, and that is something which we are dealing with right now because that is mandatory. And then when you define this, it doesn't matter whether you have 1 or 10 companies. If you have common dictionary of all these terms, common KPIs, common definitions of this, and one central repository which you democratize using of data to many different parts of organization or different organizations, if this is like the group with several companies, then you have a chance to actually use the data in the same way and to have them speaking together. It's very hard, and silos are very, very much obstacle in enterprises, in big enterprises, big obstacle to move forward.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Like, without like going too much into details, like, yeah, of course, and some data, some let's say methodologies, to be completely honest, not like technology, such as data mesh, for example, etc. But it doesn't matter if you like or don't like the data mesh, but federalized data, like governance, has some points that even if you're not doing that, it can help you a lot. Data dictionary, for example, you can have a data dictionary everywhere, like in every type of, like however you organize your internal structure for data engineering, data management, data architecture, still you can do that. Also, like you mentioned, one interesting thing is data and AI literacy, and I would like to make one statement. I would like from your side to say, do you believe this is true or not?
Do I have the scale? 1 to 5?
No, I will give you.
I have to be binary.
1 to 6. No, 1 to 6.
1 to 6. Okay.
So you need to be. Do you believe that traditional companies such as telco, like finance, like banks, something like that, they have a heavily regulated space. They understand much more understand the importance of investing the money in data and AI literacy than AI and IT companies.
Oof. Very hard because it's not equal everywhere. It's very hard to calculate now the average of the industry. So I cannot answer directly in 1 to 6. I cannot pick the number, but I think that regulation pushes you to solve some problems more. You are more under the external eyes, you know, of some regulator, finance, telco, doesn't matter, and as you have services that you're offering, it's different when you're having when you're having physical goods, for instance, and when you're having really services, when you have a lot of interactions with customers. And I think that the data literacy and AI literacy is the step that now needs to happen. Not sure that all the companies still recognize that, but they already recognize that they need to do something with data. So I think that then the next step is, if you do not have enough people, you need to reskill them and upskill them, and that means that you need to invest into data and AI literacy. So it's more like something that is a little bit afterthought, unfortunately, because it could have been done in time, but definitely these big industries will address this faster than maybe some other industries. I can agree on that.
Okay, thank you. Also, like my question, like for this first part, where we are and are we on a good track, is are there any emerging trends now that you think will redefine our ecosystem in the coming years?
Well, not sure that they are emerging, but I will just share a few things that I've seen in Web Summit last week, Web Summit in Lisbon. And I think that what we can see is that there are emerging AI solutions, niche AI solutions. And I think that that is something what will happen, because companies will not have enough people and knowledge and time to build their own models and their own solutions. So I think that what we see is really proliferation of many solutions for specific tasks. So this is something that is, I think, good, because you can be faster in deploying things, and with that maybe buy some time to develop your own models, do maybe some things more customized according to your business. And even we are, for instance, in telecom, as we have a fund, a startup venture fund, and we have several startups that are having products based on AI solutions, and two of them we already use, for instance, in our operations for some things. But these are niche solutions, so we are not building our own model. Of course, we need to sort the data and give it somewhere, but it is good that we can deploy then these kinds of solutions faster, and I think that will happen, that more companies will start using new tools and solutions. They will go out of their comfort zone, and they will start using new tools and start trusting them. For instance, I've seen one great solution that is related totally to brand and marketing. And that is another thing. Many solutions, the other big trend that I've seen is AI in creative industries. That is unbelievable, because we were thinking about AI a lot from perspective of profitability and efficiency of business processes, but now there is really a surge of solutions and big hype about AI in creative industries. I mean, you had so many different popular worldly musicians and actors in Web Summit. Of course. There as keynotes, as part of some startups, etc. So I see that this is a big trend, and I think that here it will be also more present in the upcoming years. So let's say these two things I think are important.
I think that what you said, just to reflect, I said yesterday when I was having a fireside chat with Sasha Kanin as a keynote, I also mentioned that Ben Affleck explained to the people where he believes how AI is going to be used and what AI can be using for the creative industry, and how it can basically, in the end, serve as the lowering down the entry point to create some artistic and creative stuff. Like only the lowering the bar. It doesn't mean that you will have like something less or more, but there's some initial cost, like negative engineering, like in gaming. I don't know how much of you have known, but before Unity, why gaming wasn't that much developed? Because first you need to develop engine, and after that you can think about how you can develop game. And game needs to be basically related to the engine that you have developed. So if you made a mistake in the beginning, bye-bye. You cannot do anything else. And when first time Unity was very powerful because you can focus on develop games. So basically creative industry, when we are talking about, it's about being creative, like marketing, brand and everything else, like movies as well. Like so I totally agree on that, and I think that we can see I can see that like what can be also consequence of that the people who have very big influence start talking even more about AI. It's going to not create another bubble, but it's going to get even bigger hype. And I think that can be, like you said, very interesting. But what you said, I would like to reflect is, you said many new things. And I would like to ask, from yours, many new things going to be developed, it's going to be new tools, etc. And it's a great intro for my next question, which is, how do you see this ongoing rapid technologies advancement race, especially between tech giants? And how hard is for a corporation to follow up and to stay up to date? Is this an issue?
Well, I'm not sure that corporations, enterprises in local markets should try to stay totally on the level, up to date on the level of what they are doing, because it's not possible. I mean, they're developing at such a pace that no one can follow it. And it's not only about investments, it's about also people and reskilling, upskilling. You cannot keep the pace of that. And also it's about what are real business problems that you need to solve. Do you really need the latest technology always, which they are pushing for, or you can really apply the proper technology to your business problem? So I think that we need to understand that no one actually can, corporate world cannot follow that. And that is okay. But you need to have, but who needs to follow it? Specialized companies who are dealing with certain things and using these technologies, and then corporations have to have strategic partners for this. And they are actually bridging the gap of your internal knowledge, and this is how it's done. Because otherwise it's not possible. You cannot set aside now, 20 people who are only dealing with testing and dealing with new technologies and not applying them to your business. Because if you're a corporation, you have your targets, maybe you have your competition, you need to do the things that, why you are there, why you exist. You're not there to follow only technology, you're to apply it properly. So that is why I think that we need to, the solution is in strategic partners and previously mentioned specialized AI solutions for certain niches, like don't develop everything all the time on your own. Do some balance. So that means you are building your knowledge and experience, which I think it's very, very important, both technical but also in all other areas, because implementing, for instance, AI in some business process, it's not only about people who are IT skilled people for data and AI. It's much more about all other people in organization. So you need to work on this, but I think that there are these, maybe those are shortcuts, how you need to stay somehow in touch, but not beating yourself because you are not informed, that you do not understand, and you did not apply the latest version that was launched last month. That is the wrong kind of thinking, which will just lead us to chasing the technology and not actually chasing solving business problems. And in corporations, we exist. Managers, leaders, people exist to solve business problems.
That's right.
So we have to balance this.
This is excellent. Saying an excellent message to everyone who has their own company, who is doing something in AI and data, to understand that basically this kind of synergy between different states and creating a sustainable, strategic partnership in the end. What does it mean when you say it's a sustainable strategic partnership? It means that on the human level, you have very good connection, not only to do outsource, which, to be completely honest, on this part of the world is mostly done, but also to be there to help with somebody, to be there basically extra hand, and also developing your own company while being an extra hand to somebody who is much bigger than you in terms of scale of the business. And this is something that I think that is a good message when you think about that. Means that we will grow together. And that's a very strong message, what I can hear from your side.
Yeah.
That is very important. Being said that, in terms of developing business model, do you believe that AI can be scalable, can be sustainable at scale in the big organization, and how?
Well,
that is.
Do I believe? If I do not believe in these kind of things, then what am I doing then?
Okay.
Then I am immediately, saying it's not possible. But I did not see yet a corporation that has AI at scale. Fully everywhere. So this is something like an ongoing process, really. Yes.
Interesting fact I just want to share with you. Tobias said yesterday that there is a research that only 8% companies has 5 or more use cases in businesses of AI, and 72% has 1.
Well, exactly. So it is like a goal. You want to have it at scale, but what does at scale means? It means that you implement it in some way, or you're using AI in some way in totally different parts of organization that have totally different skills, different business processes, different background,
right.
Mostly not technology background. So that means that you need to have such a strong governance of this organization, of processes and skills of people, and business outcomes of using this AI, and understanding when AI starts to say something that you cannot really connect to real world, and that something is not wrong. Maybe retraining is needed, maybe something is corrupting the data, maybe something happens. So it's not only technology part, but it's largely also, but it is partly also technology part, how you're going to govern all these models. So it's model and organization. Not model, technology and organization, how to govern it together so that you can have it at scale. I don't think it will come soon. Recently, my team found me some, like different researches, and I've seen one graph from Goldman Sachs,
Okay.
which was like the adoption rate of AI in enterprises in the next 20 years, for instance. And they said, of course, US market will be the most, and then other developed markets and emerging markets a few years slower. I mean, not normal, but it is like at this moment, they are still seeing adoption as linear thing until 2030, and it's about 2030 when they will see this adoption going a little bit more to exponential.
Okay.
This is how this graph looks like. And I think that, and I was thinking, when I saw that, I started thinking about that, and I realized even without that data, what you just said, because it's not possible to be faster. We can have technology and tech giants that are faster in pace, but at the end, to implement something in organization, it's about people. And people cannot change and adapt at exponential level. People do change and adapt at linear level. Maybe you can create bigger pace, you can create urgency, but it is not something that can happen overnight. So I think that it is something that is achievable. Not in every organization, maybe not every organization needs it. I think that it again has to come from the need of the business and what exactly AI at scale for certain organization is. Okay. That is every corporation, every enterprise has to define this for themselves.
I will, for now, just keep the part with regulation, because you have started a very interesting talk. I would like to give you the room to continue in this matter, because you start talking about major transformation in organizations. And what strategies have you found most effective in empowering employees to embrace and drive AI adoption?
Well, I think that you need to create, not what strategies, first you need to have a strategy.
Okay.
I think that is the first thing which most of the companies do not have. You need to look yourself, I mean, your organization in the mirror, in your eyes, in a way, to see what are the gaps and to be open about that, and then based on that, to start solving problems.
Okay.
And what I think it's important that you need to have consensus in the company, which is very hard to achieve, very hard. In order to do this kind of transformation, but you need to do it. So we defined, after a lot of internal challenges, we managed to somehow define data-driven organization program. Last year, we've done many and finished already many of the projects within this program, which helped us to move forward. Some of them are still ongoing. But I think that the most important thing in that program, that why I believed it will be successful, was inclusion, because that was the first time when the inclusion happened of different parts of organization, and the message was clear from CEO, which I think it's also important. So C-level and, if possible, CEO has to be somehow sponsor of this kind of initiatives, because they are very hard. They are going to the very core of how things are being done, and to ownership of certain things, and it's very hard in every enterprise, big companies especially, and that is, I think, how you need to do it. So you need to have a vision, you need to define the strategy, you need to develop the program, you need to have inclusion of all people there, you need to have the support of top management, you need to break silos, and that is something where you need to be very hard on silos, because and it's not easy. I mean, I cannot say that I'm fully successful in all of these things. I know what needs to be done, and I'm really very passionate and enthusiastic and energetic about all these aspects. But it's not that they are smooth, that it happens smooth. So I don't want to say that it is easy, but it needs to be done. And the only way to be successful is if you do all these steps.
When you talk about what was major change in the last 10 years, I think that mentioning the silos is maybe the most for me. Like, when I'm thinking about it, because to be completely frank, silos was created as some part like of organizational job security, to be completely honest, because people,
Absolutely.
and that's truth. And when we start talking about that, I think that we are also doing one very big favor for the future us, and that is that we are striving not to have job security, but to be job enabler. If you're a job enabler, your job will be secure.
Very
in the end.
nice. Very
And
nice put.
this is when I think right when you are talking right now, I think that that could be a maybe the major change and something that will lead to maybe not right now, but all of the people who understand that they invest a little bit more time, lifelong learning, to understand that. But the process of learning is not finished when we finish. Every time we start new project, we're learning something new.
Yeah.
We on this conference we learn 20 new things like as a team. Like some of things were good, some of things were not good, but it's gonna be better in the end. And what you said, of course, like you need to be realistic about that self and to say, okay, I did this good, I could do this better. Maybe this is not possible in the end. That could also be a
Yeah.
answer.
Some things, and maybe some things need to be put aside and wait for the right moment.
That's
so
right.
it's not, there is not like a recipe that will be the same for every company. It's more like a framework
That's right.
of thinking that you need to apply to different companies, and companies need to adopt it to themselves. But without leadership, top leadership support and commitment and engagement, and without inclusion, because from inclusion
That's right.
and without business value, through all this, you need somehow to find a way how to connect business value, why we are doing this. So it's both purpose, but also what I'm going to get from this, why this is important.
This is right.
This is very, very important part of it. And this is something that you actually do through strategy, through projects. I mean, this year, we last year did data-driven organization. This year we did AI strategy. But at the end, AI strategy has a lot of use cases where some of them are not AI, because it's more like enabling, enabling AI in some
Of
cases,
course.
or maybe even just something that you can do from data that is needed by business, but it does not require machine learning or deep learning or Gen AI. And I think that is also important. Do not just chase AI because of AI. Sort your data and use it, apply proper technology to get the business value.
One additional thing that I saw, like yesterday in Tobias' presentation, I was there because Mikhailo was, so I needed to stay,
Yeah.
to be honest. Mostly I don't listen to the presentation because I need to finish organizational things.
You have other things that you...
But the thing is, there's one thing that what we did, I was writing the national strategy of Serbia as a part of the group, my proposal was to not only do the writing, but also to define the storylines. What does it mean? There is some storyline that it can be done together. So if you finish step 1, step 2, step 3,
Yeah.
step 4, together synergetic effect will be 10 times better than just to go and listen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the end.
Very good point, and that is how we did the AI strategy, because we actually tried to connect. Even, you see, you need to do one model so that you can start doing something else, because it is like prerequisite, and there is dependency. And if you look individual some cases, you might lose the synergetic effect of different activities. That is why strategy is important. You actually, in corporation, need to see the whole picture and then decide action plan how you're going to get there, because you cannot do everything at once, and you should not do everything at once. And learning process is very, very important in this. Of course, that when you start doing this, you're increasing the pace of learning, because you get to higher parts of learning curve. So I think that the most important thing is at the end to really start, but do it properly. Like you said, storylines or whatever wizard we can put there so that everyone knows through which steps they need to pass.
And what you said regarding the collision is also very interesting. When people I think it also the difference in doing business, not only AI, but generally what you said. In collision, something like this big strategy thing is what most developed for the CEOs or some top level management, and the rest will be seen just as workers, let's say. But when you share that different path where you're going, maybe not the bigger vision, not everybody understand, but when you share the path with the employees, you get an excellent feedback, and like you said, the process of adoption of that, I believe it's like 10 times faster. So this is excellent strategy, to be completely honest. So kudos to that. What I wanted to ask is that you mentioned continuous learning innovation. I would like to ask you, what action do you believe leaders can take to nurture that their employees are really adopting continuous learning and try to innovate?
Well, I think this is not a topic that is related only to data and AI. I think that we are about continuous learning. We are talking about last 10 years because when we started realizing that the pace of innovation in general is increasing, and smart companies implemented some ways of steering their employees, providing them maybe platforms, so providing them tools, but also steering them. I'm not sure that many companies are doing that, and I think that it's important to get into more depth with steering people in the ocean of knowledge that exists, how to really build their skills, what to learn and how. And when it comes to data and AI, what we realized last year, we realized in the last couple of years, but we started last year. We started from the basic things like data alphabet and started educating through newsletters and through different information, through nice infographics, the rest of the company about basics, because we realized that we are lacking the basics. Then we organized specialized, for many people in different organizations, specialized trainings with our partners so that they really can build up their analytical skills. So these are people that should do self-service on data. So I think that leaders need to understand that they need to set up these kind of programs for their people, and they need to guide them through them. It will not happen if you just leave it there and say, okay, you have everything, do it yourself. So I think that more engagement from leaders in this regard needs to exist, not only to put the platform or courses there. So we are trying to do some things.
I think that I can do a very good follow-up on maybe why maybe it's not that done. And that is how much you believe it's important also for the leaders to invest in their education and development.
Well, I think that
I know that you're doing that a lot.
This is actually the right question. I think that, unfortunately, I see too many leaders that are not leaders, but are managers, maybe not even good managers often. And that means that they often have even, I call it like, arrogance of ignorance.
Okay.
They are so convinced that they know so much about everything, especially about the topics that are not their domain, and their position is giving them the power and to maybe enforce their opinion or engage with people who do have knowledge and who are their peers in discussions and trying to show how they actually know what needs to be done, and that shows me always that they are not investing in themselves. Okay. And that is a problem. If you're not aware of what you don't know, you will not pursue knowledge. And we have too many people that are not good managers and not good leaders who think that they know everything. And that is the problem. If you have this kind of people in your management structure, then you will not have people following continuous learning.
Okay.
And go to companies and see in which parts of organization there is a lot of learning, in which less, and how it's distributed, and you will immediately see how much managers are actually involved and how much they are trying to upskill and reskill themselves. So I completely agree with you. That is probably one of the challenges to have it more in organizations.
I think that when we are talking about, of course, there's a different leadership style, like somebody who is a trainer, professional trainer with over, I think, 1,000 hours of training delivered, actually. People do think that, like, democracy, there is a different types. But I think that when we are talking about the future, like in society, I think that the only possible way is laissez-faire. That means leading by the example and also letting the people responsibility to decide. this is the only thing that I think that it has a potential to make a change, like across the organization. Because if we talk, or if we are not leading by example, that's going to be a bad on the first place, like you said. But also, if we take responsibility and stop asking and demand responsibility also for everyone, as we are doing for ourselves, we are not letting people to grow as well. Because I truly do believe that we humans are not, we are imperfect beings and unfinished business from the moment we were born until we die. That's totally fine. And the only thing that can define us as where we would like to be and how we'd like to be perceived and our happiness, whatever internal, is how much we are ready to basically be ready to change and
Absolutely.
to lead by that.
I absolutely agree with you.
So one last question, like to spice it up a bit, at the end of this excellent fireside chat, which, well, like, I think that 40 minutes just passed like this, is what specific one position, job, or role in the society you would not like to see to be replaced or partially replaced by AI?
I actually thought a lot about this question, and I don't have an answer about one specific job or role, but I realized that I don't want to lose human touch and human energy. I mean, I'm still remembering COVID and how we were suffering from not being able to handshake or to hug each other, or to kiss each other, and this is something that I missed quite a lot. And then I realized that I don't want to lose this, and there are many professions where I want to share my thoughts, my fear, my energy, my knowledge with people. And that is, so every profession that actually has this kind of thing, like, I don't know, psychologists, masseuse, for instance, I don't know, doctors in some situations. I don't mind AI augmenting and helping them, but I want to dance, laugh, exchange energy, touch people, and I want to use AI to have better life. So I think that we need to keep in mind what these professions are, and to really don't forget that we are making AI to create better world for ourselves, but we still have to remember that that we are humans, and we need to keep that humanity. And it is on our job. Look, we here who are really leaders of data and AI transformation of the world have a huge responsibility to ensure that that stays in that way. So any role which makes you laugh and is taking care of your mental health and your well-being has to stay in hands of people.
Okay, thank you so much, Natali. One big round of applause for Natali Delic. Because I'm very good with the time is up, but I have maybe round for one question, so please, or maybe two, okay?
Thank you for an excellent talk. And just my question, because I'm veteran in this field, what do you think it is possible to be telecom, main driver of mass education of AI? Similar, like 30 years ago, I was involved in this, that telecom lead in example to mass learning of English language. In this time, I was the director. I am only male who able to speak English, not perfect. Now we can see in Belgrade, everybody speak English. How is it possible to use, especially you have now TV channels? Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that I don't think it's good to think from perspective of telecom. I think that corporations can support governments in all these initiatives to use AI properly, use more, and to support all the ways how to develop AI and how to spread the knowledge about it. So I fully support the way of thinking that corporations and government are in this together. I don't think that telecom industry has this kind of responsibility on their own, but can be a channel to distribute some things for sure. But I don't know if this is something that answers your question.
Okay, one additional question here.
I'll try to be quick. So you mentioned arrogance of ignorance of leadership. So I wanna ask you, like, arrogance of ignorance of leadership in conjunction with so-called affirmative actions of employment, like DEI. This is more common in Western countries and United States. Like, how much that will affect the adoption of the AI in the processes? Like will employees be the ones that will kind of influence the adoption rate of the AI?
I don't think that adoption rate of AI will be bottom up. I do believe that it will have to go top down, because it is too much change, and at the end some people always have some manager above them and everything, so it's not easy to change the process bottom up. At least middle level management needs to be, actually they are the ones that need to be okay with that and to somehow govern this process. So I think that I mean, when I talk about arrogance of ignorance, I think that it is more like something that will slow adoption. And that is slowing adoption because you have people who know, who are not arrogant and do not, or maybe they're arrogant but not ignorant. That is also something that exists. And then they cannot enforce this knowledge and how things should be done because of people blocking this. So they need to spend more energy. It will happen because business will drive you, competitiveness will drive you to really finish some kind of transformations, to really use data and create some intelligent insights. So arrogance of ignorance will just slow down, but it will be broken. Eventually it has to be broken. You know, so that is something that I also believe in. I could not be transformational person if I would not believe that all these obstacles in companies cannot be really blown away. Not literally. So I'm not talking about, you know, but figuratively.
Thank you.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for this. We are starting with the lunch break, and Natali, thank you once again.
Thank you all for listening.